Hello everyone, my name is Zeynep. Today I will be talking about teaching materials as windows into pre-service teachers' understanding of ELF. Let's make an introduction. English is used as a lingua franca around the world, and since English has so many users from the outside of the circle, we should show it an ELF aware perspective. So, an other perspective demands access to learning resources that include examples of many different types of interaction between non-native speakers. This is because we are more likely to encounter with a non-native speakers than native speakers. This is because non-native speakers in numbers are exceeded than the inner circle, which is users of English as a first language. So, since we are more likely to encounter with non-native speakers, or we are more likely to going to need the English to speak and make an interaction between non-native speakers, we should include more examples and respecting local varieties of English. We shouldn't just tolerating and also developing tolerance where difference is stated, because we should both respect, both tolerance, and also celebrate the differences. And this is said as the promoting cultural diversity. Diversity is over uniformity. We should respect their cultures, their addings, their varieties in English, because no one claim an ownership on English language, and it has so many users, so it's going to obviously have so many varieties. And this should all be celebrated and respecting and tolerating and also promoting. And this means overcoming the predominant thinking in English language teaching that favors an eligible international variety and ignores language variability. So we should keep in the back the standard English and its dominance and its attitude that we should be like native. We can't be native like speakers. Instead, we should promote the diversity and make the users of English be more comfortable and be more confident in their speaking. ELF educational implication. One of the key features of an ELF perspective in classrooms is that learners can start to realize that English does not belong only to native speakers. English is right now a global language, a lingua franca, so English belongs to everyone. It can be the first language speakers, it can be second language, and it can be also the foreign language users. English is don't belong to anyone. English is for everyone. Proficient users, irrespective of their first languages, have the right to appropriate the language for their own purposes. So, since we are not going to speak English with only the native speakers, this speaking with non-native speakers can be for speakers' purposes, like getting a job, getting an education in that country. So we should value the differences and not stick to the speaking to the native and being like a native. If you conceive of world Englishes as a new linguistic phenomenon, it is possible to design teaching and learning goals that are more realistic than trying to develop native-like proficiency. I like this statement because this is more realistic. Being a native is impossible, and we know that. Instead of pursuing this dream, we should be more realistic. We should have a more realistic approach, and we should respect all the cultures, all the varieties, all the speakers' backgrounds, and promote them. Teachers can help students develop skills skills which will enable them to interact with people from different parts of the world and not just those from the inner circle countries. As I said, we are not going to speak English with the inner circle countries. We are going to speak with, we are going to speak with, and we should also be able to speak with anyone in the world. So for this, teachers should be aware of ELF, should be teach their students as a pre-service teacher. I'm agree with that. If we make our students be intercultural communicative competence aware, they are going to be able to speak with anyone in English. In the title, there was Beyond Madame. This is because one of the advantages of adopting an ELF lens in teaching learning is to be able to expand the learner's understanding that using the language is more than just talking about celebrities, a topic that is very common in course books. We can say that talking about celebrities like that is very common in course books. This was like that in my course book. Instead of this, we can make paragraphs or exercises about ELF. You know, the speakers of English whose first language is not English, and about their culture, about the real issues. The lessons could be more serious and more informing. Meaningful conversations around global issues and critical awareness raising activities can be better explored within an ELF approach rather than an AFL one, which is predominant in course books that in general tend to focus on trivial matters. So instead of focusing on trivial matters as EFL course books tend to choose, we should we should have meaningful conversations about global issues and make our students improve their critical awareness. Producing English teaching materials with an ELF perspective. Teach ELF not as a variety, but as an approach to the English language that frees teachers and learners to use language for their own purposes without worrying too much whether they are adhering to native speakers' norms. Learning English and teaching English shouldn't be standard anymore, shouldn't be have the goal of being a native like. Instead, they can have their own purposes, like traveling abroad, finding a job in a foreign country, or using English to speak with others, like non-native speakers. So if we have an ELF perspective, if we have an ELF-aware approach, and if we are respecting, tolerating, and promoting this perspective, this could be really easy for students because they will feel more confident with themselves. They would respect to the other speakers, and no one going to have an unreachable goal like being a native. So this is all for today. Thank you for listening.